I think we were colonized because we were divided by class, but we were also divided integral to us by caste.
Unless there is no ideology, there would be no rebellion. Like, for example, the Tamils today, Tamil Nadu today, there has been an ideology that has been set that Tamil culture should be the pride.
So you would agree, like it didn't matter before, it didn't matter after because of caste. Like untouchables, what the fuck are they gonna think about freedom for? Untouchables never had freedom. Like they would never rebel, or they would never even think about rebelling, because to them that is life. Like being untouchable was life.
Even if, say, like, untouchables did not have any rights, if the king said that you will have to go to fight, they would happily go to fight. They did not even think about it. But do you really think that we lost because Dalits did not fight?
Sure, yes, you are simplifying it, but yes, I would stand on that. No. I think you're not making an argument. You're just saying five different things. Make an argument. Say, like, put your opinion out. What do you think happened?
I was saying that I'm all up for debates. There should always be debates, but still we should have the respect for the other side, because a lot of time we are just part of one tribe or other. I just wanted to point out.
Yeah, like, look, if you take like the Hindu tradition of Vad, like the debating from Hindu perspective, it says to understand the other person first. That's like the basic step of doing anything. Like if I don't understand your point better than you do, if I don't understand you better than you do, there is no point in debating, because we're just abusing each other at that point. But you have to understand the other person's point, and then you can dismantle the point. Like if you don't know the steps they're following, the methodology they're following, like the algorithm they're following, right? Like you and me understand that better. If we don't understand the algorithm, there is no way we can say my algorithm is better than your algorithm. We don't want opinions, we want like facts at that point, right?
Yeah, also about the question that you were saying, you were asking that why we were colonized. I have a different point of view about it.
Go ahead. I think we were colonized because we were so divided, not just by class. We were divided by class, but we were also divided extremely by integrally, very integral to us by caste. Like that was the reason we were so weak. But go ahead, what do you think?
Uh, I think we were colonized just because of the very reason that our military was weak. For example, let me tell you why I think so.
Okay.
Like, we could have been colonized earlier as well, but some
Sure.
people had the military might, enough military might to be able to resist that.
Yeah.
And people did not see outsiders as any colony at that time. Why this is true? Because we
Mm,
always, from since first BC onwards, we are already having foreigners from outside. For
okay.
people in India, there was no difference that some now a white colored person has come. For them, it was just a different king who had won somehow. I think
Yes,
we were
that is
colonized
true.
merely because
Of the
merely
mindset, right?
because yeah, but that mindset was not mindset was not wrong according to me, because it has already been there for 2000 years. We have been having
Yeah,
Greeks, Mughals, Turks, from everywhere. People have been coming. They
true.
have been living here. There was not a big issue. For
Yeah.
example, if you will ask someone from 1600 or 1500 year time period, they would
Mm-hmm.
just say that there have been new people who have come to rule. They have beaten some
Yeah,
king. So
because
I think
yeah, I'll say
we were
what
colonized just because we were technologically inferior.
I would say that too, right? Because of the rigidity, right, of our education system at that point, we couldn't adapt. We couldn't like get firearms. We couldn't get cannons. We couldn't get whatever like the new steel was. Like we were slower in getting those things because of the education system. And I'll say, like, why did we accept like a new ruler, like whatever, a white ruler, a brown ruler, Muslim ruler? Who gives a shit? Your life is the same. Like my grandfather was a like he was just farming. Like he was farming when we were colonized. He didn't care. He didn't like feel any impact. It was just tax to him. Like he just had to pay tax to whoever was ruling. He did not give a shit. Like that
Yeah,
way it
and
was
also I
easier to
think
accept like colonizers, like whatever colonization was happening. It was easier to accept.
I I would go it at a one level up. I think
Mhm.
Indian people just did not think that some people were like like there to exploit us. They thought themselves
Yeah,
as small little kingdoms that were always fighting.
yeah,
Like they did not think that people will be there who never wanted to rule them. Like when the Mughals came, they thought that they also ruled them. They did not think that people will be coming from outside to rule them in an exploitative manner. They thought that it was just fighting among the kingdoms, like Rajputs fighting Marathas.
yeah,
There were always fighting.
yeah.
I would not even doubt the intellect of the common people. They just did not believe that something like this could happen because they thought that everyone was rulers that like they had. I think
No,
there
no,
was
no, no.
a
No, I
perception.
think you're oversimplifying it at this point. Like they, like, look, like a person would know, exploit. They would have seen an exploitative king. They would have seen a good king. They would know the difference between those two, right? A tyrant and like a benevolent, like a ruler. They probably would have seen both, or they would have heard stories about both, like bad kings and good kings. There probably were like 1,000 stories about bad kings, good kings. Like they would have had the idea of what a good king is and what a bad king is. You would agree, right?
But
Like,
not about a colonizer, right? That somebody would not even be ruling them. They would not have heard about this. Somebody would not even be ruling them. They would see this place only as a product, as a market for their refined products and a market for raw materials.
yeah, like, yeah,
I think that
that's what
would
I said.
not be
Like
there.
they just see it as tax. Like I'm giving tax to this person or I'm giving tax to this person. There's no difference to them personally.
And when they realized that,
Uh-huh.
they did some resistance. Like 1857 revolt was the indication of that. That
Bro, like
people saw it differently.
1857, do you think it took us that long to realize we were like colonized? We were fucked. 1857 is like 350 years of colonization. Like
Yeah,
we
but it is a wrong notion because till 1757, British did not have any effective control over any of the parts.
yeah, yeah, but before that it was Muslim colonization, right? Like Mughal colonization.
Muslim colonization was like similar to an exploitative ruler, not exactly a colonizer because they were there, but like their interests were in that place mostly. Their cultural imposition was a colonization aspect, but other than
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
in
it
the
was,
life of common people, it was a new king with a new set of ideas. But in the case of British, it is called colonization for a reason that they did not
yeah.
even see our country or our kingdoms as their kingdom. They only see it as a market for raw material and finished products.
You are right. Yeah, I agree. But we would have understood, right? Like at like Mughal understanding of things. Like when we were like ruled by Mughals, we would understand that there was, like, we were living in a different culture. The culture has changed, and the culture is changing yet again with the British. They would, I think they would have understood what was happening. I don't think it's like fair to say that they didn't see a difference. I think the problem was they didn't have a choice. Like there was nothing else that they can do. They had their caste, like they were set into a caste, like untouchables. What the fuck are they gonna think about freedom for? Untouchables never had freedom. They're never gonna have freedom. That's what their, probably their mindset was. So that goes, like they would never rebel, or they would never even think about rebelling, because to them that is life. Like being untouchable was life. So you would agree, like it didn't matter before, it didn't matter after, because of caste.
I would disagree a bit here because it is not always the lowest rate of the people that revolt. Like for example, when the Mughals were there, it was Marathas who who talked about something like Swarajya. It may be for only for the Maharashtra region, but there was a section of population who revolted against it. I completely agree to you that lower strata of people might not even care that
Yeah,
how will
why?
it make change, but some elite section of people, if they see a problem, they always stood up
Yes, I
in
agree.
all the
But
times.
similar to same time, parallel to Maratha. right, to parallel to Shivaji, was the Sikh kingdom or Sikh empire, parallel to that time, like same timing. But why did like every Sikh, like how did every Sikh rebel versus only like Rajputs and kings and Brahmins? Why did like only those Marathas rebel compared to like Sikh? Every Sikh person was rebelling. I think, or I would posit, is that the reason was because Sikh religion was more egalitarian. There was no caste. As such, they were all given education. As such, they were all given food, arms, education, everything that is like a prerequisite to rebel. You can't rebel if you don't have education or if you don't have an understanding of freedom, or like you don't have the means to do it. If you don't have arms, you're not gonna rebel. There is no way. You can't even think about rebelling. Like it took Shivaji, a well-educated, well-fed, well-traveled person, to think of rebellion or to facilitate a rebellion.
I would slightly disagree at this point.
Yeah,
I think both Marathas and Sikhs rebelled because they had formed an ideology. The ideology for Marathas was Swarajya. The
yeah,
ideology for Sikhs was that
like
their
independent kingdom for themselves.
religion was being attacked.
Yeah,
No, Sikhs first protested against Mughals. Against Britishers, they hardly protested. They only made a kingdom of their own. Sikhs mainly got into rebellion with Mughals. Both of them had an ideology. Only after an ideology was formed, they revolt. For example, again, in case of Marathas, the ideology formed was Swarajya. For any section of people, now the ideology was fixed. Like in the case of independence, our ideology was that we want a free India that was ruled by us. I would disagree at this point because I always felt that there should have been an ideology in case of anyone. Like for example, the Tamils today, Tamil Nadu today, there has been an ideology that has been set that Tamil culture should be the pride. So unless there is no ideology, there would be no rebellion.
yeah, I
Like
understand. I understand.
something
And
that people can connect with.
I am critiquing that ideology, right? Uh, I would say more liberal ideologies always win. Like if you look at Marathas, they also went casteless, right? I don't know about like untouchability, but they also went casteless. They also had Muslims in their armies. So more liberal ideologies always win, and liberalism doesn't mean just tolerance. It also means like proliferation of education to every strata of things. And to prove my point that all liberal ideologies always win, look at the British Empire. They only had like two, three classes. They had the kings and queens, royalty, they had nobles, and then they had the peasants. So, what allowed them to have such a big kingdom was because they allowed the peasants to get educated, to roam around the world, to claim any land. Like, that's what made them so powerful.
I would disagree at this. Britishers ruled the world because they had the ideology first. They had the ideology of God, glory, and gold. This was the ideology that was set.
Yeah, which made
To
them.
motivate to motivate the masses, you need an ideology. They gave the
Yeah, I
ideology
agree.
to the
I'm not
God.
saying ideologies are not needed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what your ideology, like what tools or what institutions your ideology believes in is very important, right? Like if your ideology doesn't believe in schooling, it's going to be weak. If your ideology doesn't believe in egalitarianism, it's going to be like, if it's a caste based society, caste based ideology, it's going to be weaker than any other tolerant liberal ideology. Look at Sikhs, more liberal than Hindus before them. Look at Marathas, more liberal than Hindus before them. Like the people who lost became more liberal and then they won, is what I'm saying. That ideology has to believe in like liberal institutions to get ahead, and it's the same thing today.
What would your case will be for Islam then? Islam doesn't have any tolerant ideology.
But they're
It
still
still
more
wins because it
liberal.
has an ideology.
But they're still more liberal than Hindu ideology. Think about that. They did not have caste. They ate from the same because they were all considered below God and below Muhammad, right? That's done. Everybody's equal in that sense. While when you come to India, we had untouchables, we had Shudras, we had Avaishyas, whatever, right? Like we were more intolerant than Islam. Would you agree or no?
Uh, I would agree in case of love. What do you mean by intolerant? If you mean intolerant means differences within, if you mean to say in that regards, I would agree.
Yeah, like I okay, intolerance would be the wrong word to use, because in Islam there was like no, like you can't debate like you did in Hinduism, right? You can't debate your ideology, but it was more egalitarian, like it was more equal. Every person was same in their, like they could go to the army, they could like get educated if they had the means, whatever. It was not caste based, like
I think I think we are debating a bit because we are talking about a society where king's order mattered, and we are if the kings ordered and had enough military, I
Mhm.
doubt there would have been any issue because
True, but
we are
they didn't
I
choose
think we are
anything.
comparing today's society with that kind of society.
What do you mean?
Even if say no, even if say like untouchables did not have any rights, if the king said that you will have to go to fight, they would happily go to fight. They did not even think about it.
Sure, but they
Like,
look, fighting or military was seen as a religion or caste, right?
yes, yes.
In Islam, it's not the same thing. If you are ordered, you can go fight because it's not a caste. While in Hinduism, a king can't even think about it. They can't think about sending Dalits to fight because it's a religion. Like you can't be in the military unless you are Kshatriya, right?
But do you really think that we lost because Dalits did not fight in the
Sure,
military?
yes. You are simplifying it, but yes, I would stand on that. I would stand on this because let me explain. Let me explain myself. Okay, if you and you agree with me here, we started this discussion with saying these. Like, if you don't have any what do you say? How do you say? If you don't have a stake, if there's nothing for you to lose, you're not gonna fight. To a Dalit, if he is ruled by a Mughal ruler or by a British ruler, it does not matter to him because he has no stake in that kingdom, right? Would you agree or no? Like, if you don't have stake, you're not gonna fight, and that's why, like, they didn't have enough people, they didn't have enough adaptability, they lost. That's why they had more betrayals, because there wasn't enough stake for people to like really care about that kingdom, and thus the kingdom died. Evolution.
Actually, I'm not very sure about it. That uh, like I get your point and completely agree to it, but I'm just not very sure that like if this is how things function during
Sure,
that time.
sure.
I'm just not sure about it.
Yeah,
I
I'm not a
completely agree
historian
with
either, right? I'm not a historian either.
like I'm not I don't know if like people thought about caste that like people thought about that India did not have enough military because they did not recruit enough people or because they thought that some caste people should not be like I'm not aware about these facts. Like I would
Sure,
just say that
sure.
I lack knowledge about
But
this
it's a
aspect.
yeah. I'm not like, we are not
Like I
historians.
don't I
I
don't
think
know.
you probably know more history than I do, right? But it's just
Yeah,
a
I am not.
logical. It's a
Yeah, I can say
logical
that I know
exercise.
a bit more,
I'm
but and
telling
I have
you.
not studied something like this. That things did
You
not recruit,
no.
did not have.
You probably have more history knowledge. You probably have more history knowledge than I do, because you lived in India for all your life. I was outside of India for a long time of my
And
life.
I have read a lot of history books as well.
Exactly.
I
So
just
you
did not
probably
come.
know more than me.
I just did not come across this point yet that there was something like this issue. Only for that reason, I'm just saying that
Sure,
I'm not
sure.
complete
But
knowledge
it's
very
a
much.
logical exercise. But you can follow me, right? Like, what I say is
No,
logical.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you that it might have been case, but I'm just saying that I don't know if this was how people thought back then. Only this
Sure,
thing
sure,
I want
sure,
to
sure.
say.
But they
I'm
should
not
have
sure
thought
about
about
it.
that. They should have thought about this, right?
We don't know. For example, if we say that uh, ideally, if we see today's society, if
Hmm.
we say that 80% of people are like visibly in bad situation, then at
Yeah.
some point of time people will revolt in today's understanding of our world. But we don't see the same in case of India for a long time.
Say
So I
say that
don't know
again.
if
Sorry, your voice cut out. So say that again.
like in the current scenario, like in
Uh-huh.
the current understanding, if we say that somebody is not being allowed to drink water, or
Yeah.
like something like that, some 80% of people are like that, or 75%, or even 50%, for example,
Yeah.
in a village or in a city, if somebody some position is like that, those people will ultimately protest against such thing. But we don't see the same thing in medieval India or after 10th century BC in 10th century CE in India. So I just want to say that maybe the society functioned a bit differently back then. People just saw it as a universal thing, like if king has said something, then we should just follow it. We should not care.
No,
So
no, no,
I'm
no.
not
But
sure
no, no, no.
how
Wait, wait,
society
wait, wait, wait. I just want to disagree there, right? I I'm telling you, and your understanding of Hinduism. Let me know if I'm wrong. Okay, a king couldn't even say, let's like I'm OBC, right? They probably could have recruited me in their army. They could have. It's possible. King could have done that, but they would have never. They could have never done. They could have never recruited a Dalit in their army, or like a Dalit population in their army. Religiously, like divinely mandated, it's not possible. Like you can't do that.
yeah, right.
Like divinely mandated. Bigger than a king is like a god, right? To everybody
Yeah,
in
yeah,
medieval times.
right.
So you could have just never done that. And imagine, like, do you know Ramanujan, right? Everybody knows Ramanujan.
Yes.
Imagine if Ramanujan was a Dalit, it would have had it wouldn't have changed anything in his life. Nothing, because he was poor in modern India. I'm saying in modern India, he was poor. He was like extremely backward in like his living conditions in modern times. But then he went to like Cambridge or like Oxford. He became Ramanujan. That would have never happened if he was Dalit in medieval India. He would have just, it's gone. We just lost that like genius person. We just lost that person to who? What? To like a bad ideology. So
Yeah.
yeah, imagine if everybody like in Britain, even peasants can join ships, they can travel, and if they get enough investors, they can get their own ships. Like modern, like think about a modern India, right? If a Dalit has an idea, there is more chances for him to get a company started and his intellect to be put in a way that does something good in modern India. But it would never happen in medieval India or pre Marathas. Let's be honest, because Marathas went casteless for a time, Sikhs went casteless for a time, and then they became more powerful. They finally drove back. What do you say? They drew back colonizers. Like finally, when we went casteless.
Yeah, I still feel that technology was the main reason, because for that, let me give some arguments for it. Because it was not for the first time we had come in contact with anyone else. We
Yeah,
had already always been
yeah. We've been
contact with
trading with the
others.
Roman
The,
civilization for
the
a long
Cholas,
time. Yeah,
the Cholas, Pandyas, Cheras,
yeah,
all
yeah, yeah,
went
yeah.
to Southeast Asia, had made kingdoms.
Yeah.
At that time, also caste system was there. During Chandragupta Maurya, also caste system was there. So caste system was always there. When Huns attacked India, caste system was there. Earlier, caste system was there. Caste system was always there. We lost when we lost the control on technology that the world had. We lost
Yes.
when
Uh,
we lost the control to technology. I just undermined the
and
caste
why
in
do
our
you
nation
think?
because we had
I agree with you. Okay, I agree with you. But why do you think we lost the technology race? Like, what was the reason?
what was the reason of not being on the pinnacle of caste, sorry,
or like
pinnacle of
adaptable
technology.
enough, like if we like, because if we knew that our neighbors are getting cannons, how the fuck did we not get cannons? Like what happened there?
I think there is also a thing that there is a cyclical system of empires, like
Yes,
dominance of
I
certain things.
I agree with you there, but stay with me here, okay? Why do you think we lost the technological race? What do you think would be like the major reason that you found out in your studies, or just your
Yeah,
opinion? Put out your
one of the
opinion.
reasons, one of the very critical reasons was also that the Silk Route that existed earlier,
Silk Route.
it
Yeah.
yeah, Silk Route that existed earlier, because of which India had a lot of money flowing in always
Yes.
inside India.
Yeah.
India lost that economic hedge because of some Silk Route was disturbed. Some kingdoms, important kingdoms that India had, there was a factionalism in those kingdoms.
Wait.
Like India was once under single rule of Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, and
Moria.
all these.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
After that, India got fragmented into smaller regions.
Yeah.
So all these factors together combined that India was no longer powerful enough.
No. I think you're not making an argument. You're just saying five different things. Make an argument. Say, like, put your opinion out. What do you think happened? Like, where did we fail? Like, or the major reason? You don't have to. You're not a scientist. You're not a historian. But just point out one or two things that you think happened that could have changed the trajectory of us losing as civilization. Like, how did we lose? Because you said five things that I don't think like sit well together.
Yeah, you tell. For example, let me
Okay,
give
let
you
me
the.
tell my opinion. Okay, my opinion is it was because of the research. Like we couldn't research, we couldn't accept new things. From what I know, we had a Brahminical mandate of
For that, my question is that was it not in fifth century? Was it not in seventh century? It was always there.
yes,
Post,
true. But it worked. It
I did,
worked
I did
till
not, I did not take that as a point because it was always there. So you
yeah.
tell me
I
something that
agree with you.
changed.
Yes. It. I think the system. You can agree with me, right? If systems are bad, like in your company, you are. I don't know what you're a software developer, right? The let's say Hotstar has a bad system to manage users, right? So while they have 10,000 users, it can function. It will work. When they have 1 lakh people viewers, it'll still work. But it will finally break when they have like 10 lakh people, and you can know that the system is bad, but it'll only break when it like goes to the extreme. So that's my argument. Our system worked until it didn't work. Like it fucked up in a really bad way.
But
Now
we are not getting what changed. Like what
nothing
like there should
changed.
have been the some change, right?
Nothing changed.
Like
Think
like
about
in the
this.
case of like in the case of Hotstar, you said that like earlier there were less users, then there
Yes.
were more users. So there should have been some change. So
Yeah.
the question is like what changed? The question should be what changed in that case.
Okay. Okay. So what was the change, or like what got? Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you this. Uh.
The question essentially remains that get that what changed after a point of time.
Yes. Okay. I think as a society, Hindus became more and more like conservative, more and more traditionalist, more and more like rigid, less liberal. So what happened was like we didn't we assigned people caste at birth, right? Like whatever you're born in, that's the caste you are in. There was no like meritocracy. Like if a Dalit person was a genius motherfucker, like a genius amazing scientist, he could have been made a Brahmin. I would say, I would argue that before he could have been made a Brahmin, but as we got further, the power got entrenched. Everybody just wanted to keep their seats, and that's when we like stopped believing in meritocracy. Like imagine this. Like think about this. I'll give you one example. Okay, So we were, from what I know, it could be wrong. Okay, Hindus were barred, like Brahmanically mandated, not to go on the water. Like you couldn't have ships. Do you think that that's what I've read? Like we couldn't go on ships. What do you think about
But
that?
Cholas went to Southeast Asia.
I agree, but from what I could be wrong. Okay, from what I know, in the north, Shivaji Maharaj was the first person to ever like have ships in his kingdom in the north. I know the south, like south was a trading like empire. They always had like ship routes between Southeast Asia. They also went to like Middle East. I know that, but in north, from what I've read, I could be completely wrong. I'm saying completely wrong. Shivaji was the first person to ever like get shipbuilders. Like he would hire, from what I've read, or like not read, I don't read. From what I've heard, is Shivaji was the first person to hire like British and Portuguese shipbuilders to buy ships from him, from them. And the reason he was really good at defending his ports, because Konkan was a port, right? Like Maharashtra was a lot of ports, Goa, whatever. The reason he was really good at defending those ports was because he had designed smaller ships that could sail closer to the coast, and the British had really huge ships that were made to travel from Britain to India because they needed huge ships, and Shivaji had really small ships that he designed or he commissioned, and like that's why he was really good at defending against the British. And from what I understand, that didn't happen before him. Like what? Why? Why did it not happen before him?
It is completely correct what you are saying, but that just shows that India was technologically inferior. The kings in India considered themselves as land powers, and they thought that land power was the most important thing. They did
You
not
couldn't
even
say
read
no,
through
no, no,
the.
no. You can't say that because look again. I'll use your example. Cholas, right, and probably like Bengali rulers, Gujarati rulers probably knew the understanding of like the importance of trade. Like they probably knew Gujarati,
No, no,
southern.
trade was always there, but like Mughal as the empire thought
Yeah.
that it was the land power that made them strong and
Yes,
not
yes,
the
like cavalry,
technology.
like their reliance
Yeah,
on cavalry.
yeah, that was technologically backwardness, right? In
Yes,
that
true, true,
case.
true, true. But my argument is we got technologically backward because we got more conservative. Like if we allowed more people to study, if we allowed more people to critique, debate, I will always go back to debate. Okay, that's just me. That's my bias. Debate is like God to me, whatever. But if we allowed more people to get educated, more people to be freer, more people to have a stake in the kingdom, we would have never lost because we have some of the smartest people on the planet. Come on, we would have never lost, but we lost because we got into this like power dynamic of like casteism, like oh, I'm a Brahmin or you're a fucking whatever, right? I don't want to say anything, but yeah, I'm streaming, but yes, right. So when that started, that the like mental backwardness started, like when we started believing that people are backward or people are untouchable from birth, that's when the crash, that's when the system got fucked, and it just took some time for it to be really fucked. What do you say?
Yeah, it can be the case. It
Yeah,
can be the case. But like I would say that it was also a luck. Like
sure.
like we have sort of come to the conclusion that like 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 Islam was more in that case better in case of in terms of not being casteist. But
Yeah.
it did not have the luck that it did not promote it did not have a renaissance like Europe had. So
No,
it
yeah.
never got to the stage. So Europe was in a kind a bit lucky as well that
No, 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 no.
renaissance
I think you're
happened.
saying luck when you should be. I think you should be saying more liberal. Think about this. Caste, the least liberal, right? Hinduism was the least liberal at that point in time. I'm not saying ever, but at that point in time, Hinduism was. the most backward in liberalism, and then it was Islam. It was more like it was casteless, but it had no like basic human rights, no women's rights, right? Then came the Western ideologies, which were really liberal. Like they had philosophers. Think about philosophy. They had philosophers openly challenging the government, like Socrates, like Plato, right? Those people. They had more liberal societies. They had education for all, or education for money. Like if you had money, you can get educated, or you could get authorship. So the most liberal ideology won in the end. Think about this. Even if Islam won in the middle, eventually the Western powers won like everything. They got everything they needed in life. So like liberalism is the marker of like what won in the end.
But those philosophers were being killed in Europe already. They did
True,
not have a lot
but
of rights. Let's be honest. Like this
no,
is
no, no,
not
no,
true.
no, no.
Like
Let's
it was similar to Islam at best.
no, 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 no. You think
People
that
were being
you'll
killed
make that
for
point? You'll make that. You'll agree to that. You'll say that Islamic philosophers had the same problems as like Western philosophers. You'll make that point.
like both were like at both places people were killed for even calling Earth round.
Sure, and in that department, we were better before, right? We had like atheists debating our lands. We had round earthers, flat earthers. We had more philosophical diversity, which I think like ended, which is why we were doing okay. We were doing amazing in this land. And then when we finally got corrupt, oh, I'll come back to Islam and like Christianity, right?
Yeah.
Christianity lost. Like when atheism was at the height, right? When like doctors started becoming a thing, when philosophers started becoming a thing, Christianity lost its power. Like Catholicism, the church lost its power. Secularism came as a concept there in Western nations. It never came
It
in
was luck,
Islamic
right?
nations.
Those things came. It was luck, right? Those things
No, no, no.
came.
It wasn't luck. It was evolution. They like Socrates was, I think, called the first philosopher, right? And
Socrates was a luck, right?
he was. It's not luck, bro. He was in a democracy. That's not luck. That's systems. Like that's what they believe in. And like luck, like you're saying luck.
So
Okay, okay. Wait, wait, wait.
and how does Christianity believe in democracy by theology?
No, no, no. Wait, wait, wait. Hold on. Would you say luck and evolution are the same thing?
I think luck generates evolution.
Exactly, right? Like or like no, 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 no. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say that even. You would say, uh, you're being lucky in a like a. So there has to be a
Like
truth, right? For us to
like we
believe in
were- like
evolution.
like we
Wait,
were lucky that a billions of years ago something happened because
yeah,
of which life came to Earth,
yes, but there
and
has to
that
be a
led to
truth.
evolution.
Like there has to be a correct path for evolution to be lucky. Like what is that lucky? Like lucky is just randomness. Like you just being lucky. Okay, I found some money. That's not evolution. Evolution is okay, I found a book and it's a really good book and I understand that book. Luckily, that's evolution. Like you going in a correct path is evolution.
But
And
finding the book, but finding the book was luck.
yes, yes, I agree with you.
I could have not finded the book.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. But acceptance of that book is not luckiness, right? The study of that book is not lucky. It's a system. Like you deliberately, you tried to read that book, you tried to challenge your own mindset, and you accept that book. That's not luck. Finding that book is lucky, but like accepting that book is not luck. It's a system. It's like your willingness to grow. Would you agree?
But we have already started with luck, right?
Yes, yes, yes. You start with luck. I agree with you, but I'm saying that the difference is in the systems. Like both, let's say the Middle East got really lucky with oil, right?
Yeah, you're right.
They got really lucky in oil, but they now, how did they never get lucky in philosophers? Tell me. Like, what is the difference? Like economically, they got lucky. Russia is lucky, but they never got philosophically lucky. How? Like
But
India
they are
is.
getting luck. But they are getting luck, right? Like they are now getting MBZ. It was their luck that they have now got MBZ. Like if they
Wait,
have
wait,
been
what is
some
it?
radical
MBZ?
person,
Mohammed bin Salman? Is that what
yeah,
you?
MBZ and MBS, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. But still, look, that's not lucky,
They
bro.
don't have they
That's not
don't have
lucky.
they don't have they don't have people like Palestine's Hamas. It is their
Yes,
luck,
true,
right?
true, true. But why? You are, I think you are conflating luck with systems. You think luck matters most. I think systems matter most, right?
But the
Because
system remains Islam in MBZ and MBS, both places, system remains Islam.
no, they don't. No,
In
right?
Palestine
No,
also
no, no, no,
system
no.
remains.
Look. No, they don't. Look, there's Oman. Let's just take Oman. Nothing else. Oman. They are Ibadi Muslims, right? They're different than Shia Sunni. They're Ibadis, right? They always had a different system than other Muslims, Shia and Sunnis. They were
But
pro, huh?
why did they have the other system? Because they were lucky that they separated at some point.
No, it's not luck, bro. Is it lucky that you are in Amazon and I'm unemployed? Is it lucky? Tell me, is it lucky? We both did computer science, and we could argue. I got a better education in America than you did. Is it lucky? You're never gonna say
Um,
yes.
no, I don't know. Like I don't have an answer for this
Exactly,
necessarily.
because you
Like
think that's wrong.
it might be possibly, but I don't know.
No. Think about this. Think about this. I got an American education. You got an Indian education, right?
Yeah,
And you are in Amazon. I'm unemployed. What is that lucky?
um, not necessarily right now.
Exactly.
No.
It's not necessarily lucky,
But
right?
like, what was the difference in system? Like, there is no difference in
The
system,
system,
right?
yes, the difference in system was that where I was getting a better education, but I spent 7,000 to 8,000 hours playing games, and you probably didn't, right?
But it was your luck that right that you could never do that. Like, did you chose to do that?
No, I had ADHD, so it's I couldn't go to class, or I didn't, like, it's existential dread for me to get into a class or do homework, right? So
But then
that
that was luck, right?
you could say that's lucky, right?
Yeah,
That's
that was luck, right?
or I'm unlucky, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yes, I understand that. But still, if I had a better system, if I understood that I had ADHD, like from way before, like when I was born, I understood that I had ADHD, I would have done college differently. And then I would have been better than you. I would have been in
But then
Amazon
still, it
in
would have been.
America.
But still, then it would have been your luck, right? That you got to
No,
know that.
no. Luck, yes, you are right that luck is what changes people's lives. But education and systems
Like you,
and
like
like
you could have been, like you could have been born in Palestine, and they would have never allowed you to even think about ADHD. So it
wait,
is your luck,
yes.
right? That you
Wait. It's the same thing. I'm born in India, so I'm never allowed to think about ADHD anyways. So it's the same thing. I
no, I
live
was
in
just
Palestine, okay?
taking an example.
Yeah, but I understand what you're meaning. But if I had systems are made by luck, I understand that. Like it was lucky,
Yeah. That was my point. That systems are made by luck. That was my point
but
for.
accepting that a system and following that system is not luck. It's deliberation.
Yeah,
It's hard
yeah,
work.
that is
Like
correct.
it's hard work to do that.
That is correct.
Like it's dedication. Like you can't be lucky everywhere.
Like my point was that Europe got lucky that it got that system somehow, and India got unlucky at a point that when it had to get that system, its system was broken. That was my point.
But yeah, look. Anybody's system can be broken, but how do you change it? Like do you first, like there is a step, like we knew this, like it's not like we were dumb motherfuckers, we knew this. Like Hindus had the philosophy of understanding failing systems and coming up with better ones, right? Hindus were not stupid.
Yeah, but they were unlucky, right? That
No,
people
they're
who,
not unlucky. They're not unlucky,
no, the
bro.
people,
They were
no,
stupid.
people who, no, they were unlucky that people who would have like reformed it, they got for some reasons
Don't say that.
downward.
Don't say that. That you don't believe that at all.
I
You are
didn't
making
believe.
a point. It's a
Like,
correct
like the
point.
same philosopher, like the same philosophers in Europe could
Uh-huh.
have come in India as well. If you
But
are saying
they
that
would have
India
been
was like
castes. Like,
India,
look, think about this.
you
If
said that India's system got deteriorated gradually.
after
So
casteism,
at
yeah,
some point, yeah, at some point there could have been philosophers possibly. Like at some point,
like,
there could have been philosophers that could have
yeah,
given different philosophy to the entire society or country
true,
as a whole.
true, 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 true.
But it did not happen.
Why did it not happen? I'll give you an example. Okay, if Socrates was born in India, what caste would he have been? He was a like his father was a mason. Like he like cut cut stones and whatever. So he would have been a Shudra, right? Like a regular OBC person.
Yeah,
So he had no like he could have never done what he did in Athens. Athens was a democracy. So you asked me this. Athens was a democracy. It was a republican democracy where nobles and aristocrats can vote. It would have never happened in India, which was a monarchy, or wherever he was born. He would have probably been in monarchy.
but India had republics in past. It could have
Like
been at that time.
yeah, it could have been that time, but
But
we
India
fucked
did
up.
not get that. India was not lucky enough.
We fucked up, right?
Yeah, India was not lucky, right?
But
But India had
it's not
republic.
about luckiness, bro. Like imagine Modi takes like the worst kind of possible steps. It's not unlucky, it's deliberate, it's hard work to fuck up. Like look at Rahul Gandhi. He's working so hard to fuck up. It's not luck, he's working hard for that.
But I'm saying, do you not consider India's republics to be at the same level of, say, time when Socrates was born?
Right now, yes. Right now, yes, but not before.
So, like, do you not consider Vajji as equivalent to that Greek?
See, I don't know. So yeah, you'll have to explain that to me. So I have no
So, so,
idea
so
what.
Vajji, so Vajji was like a republic kingdom. Like people selected. It was sort of democracy.
Okay.
It was during 200 BC in India, for example, in Bihar, around Bihar.
Okay. What was the other like? What were the neighboring kingdoms? So I know something familiar. I don't know what Vajji is or 200 BC. I have no idea what those two things are. So give me like another kingdom that was close to them.
Yeah, let me tell you 1 minute.
Yeah, or I can search. I can search.
Yeah, you can search Vajji. You can search.
Vajji Mahajnapada. That thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
And a prominent confederacy of 8 clans, including the Lichavis and Vahidevas, located in northern Bihar, India. Capital was Vaishali. It was a unique aristocratic republic where ruling chiefs known as Rajas governed collectively, unlike neighboring monarchies. Okay,
Yeah,
so
people were there. In India, people were there like that. There were several, like Litsavi was there, Sakya was there, Malla was there. There were a lot of kingdoms like that. But India was not lucky enough to get those philosophers at the right time.
I think no, you are putting in on God. Luck is just saying God didn't hope so, right? Yo, Harsil, how you doing, buddy? Okay, yeah. So you were saying God didn't. Basically, you are being a theist right now, right? Like a
I'm not being a theist, but I'm just saying that India did not have enough luck, I think.
nah, nah, nah,
That
nah,
at
nah,
the
nah,
point
nah.
when
That is
India was supposed
bullshit,
to,
bro. That is bullshit, bro. I think
like, do you still not consider Vajji as the same as Greek?
no, I do, I do, I do, I do, I do, I do, I do. Okay,
It was the time when there was a Varna system, not a caste system.
okay,
It was
yes, which was
it
better
was that
than
time.
caste.
It was that time. But still,
Sure.
people did not become Socrates. They were not
Yes.
able to influence enough.
Why? Why? Because let me tell you, like Athens, I think Athens was the first democracy, right? Republic democracy in the West. Let's just say that. I don't know. Well, let's search that.
Like in the modern form, in the modern,
Yes, in the, like a republican democracy where
in the
aristocrats.
modern form.
Yeah, it was the first democracy, right? Let's just assume Vajji was the first democracy in India.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, yeah.
assume. We'll just assume, right? What happened after Athens? What happened after Athens like got destroyed? What happened? More democracies like took like birth, right? I don't know when the Roman kingdom was. Roman kingdom was also like a republican democracy. So what happened after Athens? We got more democracies in the Western nations, and what happened after Vajji? We got less democratic. We got more monarchies in India instead of what happened in the West. So
But why we did not get?
I would say why is because of lack of hard work from people, or like you could say luck. Yes, I agree with you. Luck was there.
Yeah, that was my point only.
Yes,
That was.
yes, luck was
India
there.
did not just that.
But I think if people like you and me worked hard enough from Vajji, we could have gotten more democracies, right? In the neighboring countries. How could we have gotten more democracies? Is by just talking to them. We could have had exchange of ideas. We could have shown the difference in outcomes from other people, right? Like other countries. Let's say Vajji was especially rich compared to the other kingdoms. Other kingdoms would have accepted democracy. Would you agree or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
But
It's the difference in hard work plus luck that obviously determines the outcome. But you are, I think, discounting luck, systems, those things. They are really important, and those are the only things we can study, right? We can't study luck. We can study ideologies. We can study systems. We can study people and their hard work. Those are the only things
yeah,
that
yeah,
are like we can educate ourselves on,
yeah,
right? Agree to that.
yeah. You are right. Like hard work matters. I don't disagree
Yes,
that point. But I
yes,
only wanted to point out that maybe luck was also a factor because
yes, definitely. But
people
that's
have.
not studyable. Like you can't study luck.
Yeah, you can study luck, right?
You can only study the caste system. You can only study the religion that was being followed at that time. Like those things can be studied, but you can't really say, "Oh, wow, Shivaji got lucky that he escaped from Delhi that time." Right? That's a huge point. That is amazing. Like that was really important. If he didn't get lucky, we would have been fucked. But he
Yeah, one more
also,
example of high luck, why I was saying luck.
yeah.
Like Athens is not something very new.
Say what?
Athens is not something very old.
Athens is not very old. Yeah. Okay.
Like what we are talking of Socrates, etc. They are not very, very old. But we are having civilizations that were powerful, that were more democratic, that were more acceptable of newer ideas earlier before them, like before they existed, before they talked about things, there were civilizations that were doing better in
Yeah.
almost all aspects than them.
Yeah. Like
It
India.
was just
Like
that,
Indians had
yeah,
more better philosophers before
yeah. So it was just
Socrates.
that their luck, right? That people
No,
got
no, no, no. It's not luck.
got
It's
out of nowhere.
look right now. If we draw conclusions right now, right? When
Yeah,
when we are like silencing comedians like Samay Raina, Kunal Kamra, right? When we are silencing comedians like people, like regular people, we are not choosing, like we are choosing a bad thing. So if we get unlucky one time, we are fucked. But if we had better systems like America, they got unlucky twice. They got really bad precedents. Right now, Trump is really bad, right? They're really unlucky, but they're still surviving it. Like they can still get out of it because of the systems, because they predicted that we could get unlucky in the future. We could unluckily get a bad precedent, and we can still survive it because they had really good systems. If we get a Trump in India, we are fucked. We are done. Like we would never come back.
no, what I was saying that like before Athens, before Europe had Athens or democracy,
Uh-huh.
like people were running a bad system, right? Like they were doing something really fucked up,
True,
that they were not competing enough with other people.
true.
So they got lucky at some point in time, that they got people who wanted to change this. They want people who wanted to become equal to others, or some, for example,
Yeah,
like that.
but they had like, okay, look, okay. I'll say this. True, true, right? But they also had like, let's say Socrates, or let's say a king, right? Like the king of Athens, that he decided that it wants to be a democracy. That king could have been killed before it became a democracy, right? That king could have been killed before Athens became a democracy, right?
Yeah.
So similar to, but like when I say luck is really important, I'm not saying luck is not important. Like if Shivaji never escaped from Delhi that time, right? He could have never raided Surat. He could have never raided Delhi. Like those things could have never happened if he wasn't lucky.
What my point was that luck is sometimes important to get out of bad situations. Like for example, you
Absolutely.
had ADHD.
Yes.
Uh, if you could have been lucky if someone came there and told to you, "Oh, you have this issue, you can solve it like that." You could have been lucky, right?
Okay. You just
When
lost.
there is a,
Okay. Okay. Wait. You just lost the debate right now. Okay. I'll tell you what. Right. I got lucky. I went to America. That was luck. Right. My dad had enough resources to send me to America. That's lucky. Right.
yeah,
I went to a good college. That was lucky. Right. I
yeah,
also went to a therapist. That was lucky.
okay.
And
Still, you did not do the right thing.
and the therapist told me to get an ADHD diagnosis.
Okay,
And
you
what did
did
I
that.
do?
You did not do that.
Exactly, because I was following a system. And what was the system? The system was like this. Like, you know how in Indian cultures, you are from Rajasthan, right?
Yeah,
And I'm from Gujarat. Neighbors.
yeah, yeah.
Exact. So we have. I think you can agree to this. Like my parents were always anti-medication, like any kind of medication, even fever, cold, whatever, anti-hospital, anti-doctors, right? You would agree to that?
Like my parents are not.
Okay, sure. So you're lucky that way. See, there you go. See, but I was unlucky where my parents were kind of anti-medication. So you know what my response was when the therapist told me that you should get a ADHD diagnosis. I said I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in mental health. Fuck you. That's what I said.
But you yourself said that you were unlucky that you were born in some place that.
Exactly. But my
that-
systems were also bad, right? The systems that they taught me were also bad. If right, that was the unlucky part.
How
The
is it
luck and
possible?
unluck wasn't the part. It was the systems that I believed in.
Well, everything
Because
apart, how is it possible that somebody sent their kid to America and they are anti-medicine? Like I can't believe this thing.
no, I wasn't like really anti-medication. I was really like scientific, right? I was very liberal. Uh, but I was also, look, when new things came to me, ADHD, I never considered that I might have had ADHD or like those kind of things, like mental health. I believed in mental health. That's why I went to the therapist. If I didn't believe in mental health, I would have never been to the therapist, right? So I did go to the therapist. I took every step. But when a new thing came to me, something unbelievable came to me, I fell back to my tribe and my tribe fucked me up. Like that's what can I say? My tribe fucked me up. I couldn't think, and
But was it your hard work that you got that right?
no, that was my luck. But the hard work was my dad sending me to America, right? Uh, it was just that. Just think about that. It was just that bad decision. Just one
But
bad decision
but that
left.
bad decision was due to your luck, not your hard work.
No, it wasn't because of my luck. It was because I didn't have a stronger enough system to tackle like new things.
But why did you get that system?
That's luck. right? If I didn't read Socrates before this. If I was 18 and I was reading Socrates, Nietzsche, or whatever Indian philosophers that I don't even know, like Ambedkar, right? If I was
Yeah.
reading those things,
Yeah.
but that's also a system. Think about that. That's
But
also
the
a
system
system.
exists due to love, right?
No, like
Somebody in
my
Africa
dad,
will
my
not
dad
do what
was an
thanks for.
engineer. My dad was an engineer, right? And if he didn't have ADHD, he could have read more, and then I would have read more, right? It's equally as much as systems as it is luck. I agree with you. Let's say 50% is luck, right? But how do you survive bad luck? That's my question. Okay.
by,
How do you survive bad
by,
luck?
a, by a good luck.
Nah, that's not true though. Luck is binary, let's say.
Mhm.
Either you're lucky or you're unlucky. Let's be honest right here. So how do you survive bad luck? Like America is going through bad luck right now, and we are
But
going
they have
through
a luck. But they have a luck of having good system.
fuck off. Fuck off. You don't believe that. You don't believe that at all. Never. They
But do
don't
you
have a
not
luck
think
of good
that?
system, bro. They worked for that. They knew that they might get a bad president, and then they
But they had luck, right? People who thought that this thing, they had
dude.
luck, right?
Okay. We are going in circles at this point, right? We agree. It's 50% luck, but it's 50%.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah. We are going into circles at this point. Yeah, I'm hungry now, right?
That's fine.
So we
But luck
agree.
matters.
Luck,
But luck matters.
yes, luck.
Matters. In some way or other, it
Yeah, let's say
matters.
50%. Let's say 50%.
Not 25% maybe, but it matters.
Okay, sure. But that's not something we can study, or that's not something we can discuss, or that's not something we can change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But it becomes basis of a lot of things
true,
in long term.
truly. But I'm saying when you have good systems, right? You
But we
can
have good systems because of luck.
true. Yes, agree. But hear me
That is
out.
the only issue.
No. Hear me out though. But when you get lucky, right? When you get lucky and you have bad
Yeah.
systems, you become unlucky. Like you turn
Yeah.
that luck into unluck.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
But when you have let's say
Like
Shivaji,
we were lucky, to have Vajji, but
yeah,
either
we
we are
didn't,
unlucky or
yeah, we didn't
we are
act on
unlucky.
it,
Yeah.
and we got unlucky. We got monarchies. We lost to the Mughals. We lost to the British.
Yeah, agreed. Completely agreed.
That's what I'm saying. Well, like your luck and unluckiness matters, but if you have good systems, like when you get lucky and you, yes, this is what I'm saying. Like when you get lucky and you understand it properly, like why did I get lucky? Why I got lucky
Like
because my dad worked really
let me give
hard.
you a, let me give you a very good example of how luck make some things.
Yeah,
Like
makes or breaks.
Centennial tribe is there,
Say that
and
again.
we are in Andaman and Nicobar. Centennial tribe is there.
Okay.
At one point of time, entire earth was like that. People were in that same mode. They were living that same life.
Okay.
But for some luck factors, some
Hmm.
people diverge from that way to become what we are today. And Centennialist tribe remained that way only.
Yes.
Like, it was not necessarily their mistake that they
Yeah.
necessarily did some mistake.
It was a choice too, right? It was like they could have made a choice. Yes. So
But
yes,
that, but,
this is what
but
I'm
that
saying.
choice did not matter to them.
Yeah, it didn't matter though. Like, look, at
Like,
look, some people took a choice to leave that island, and some people made a choice to stay in that island. Now, who got more unlucky? Tell me. Like, who probably has more cancer? Who has like who dies earlier because of one choice?
the choice of moving out was not necessarily a thought out choice, right? Like it was just like they might have some family clashes, for example.
Yeah, but
Because
it's
of,
a system, right? It's like it's nature. You could say nature. Like me having ADHD, it's not it's not a glitch, but it's a function, right? So, like, let's say I was on that island, I would have probably chose to leave because to me, adventure matters more than like security. So I would have left, right? But doesn't mean that it would have been good every time.
But you were not going for adventure to advance, right?
No,
There was no
adventures.
reason for you did not go for adventure. You
It was
went for
adventure,
adventure,
yes.
not for getting advanced.
Advance, like,
Like
look,
you do not.
I'll be honest here, right? It's just me. I'm talking about me. At 18 years old, I did not give a fuck about education at all. I just wanted to get away from like home, India. I just wanted to go away. I just wanted to live life like without being judged like constantly. So that was like a bad motivation to go away. Good
Yeah,
motivation was
right, right.
also like a little bit of education. Like I can get
Like
education.
like Ramanujan went with a good motivation, right?
Exactly. And he,
It
he, he
was not every.
succeeded.
Yeah. So in case of people who did not have any good motivation and yet they succeeded, it was their luck. Like
True.
Sentinelese tribe people might have left, some people might have left because they were just wanted to go out or they had some classes because of which they thought
Yeah, yeah,
has to
yeah,
go
yeah.
out. How
Yeah.
does it? But they got
Yes.
lucky somehow that
Well,
they got evolved.
look,
Sentinelese.
luck, I think you're specifying too much. Like if you generalize, like if you look scientifically, out of 100 people, out of 100 people, let's say 50 people stayed and 50 people left, right?
Yeah.
Let's say out of those 50 people who stayed, 48 people survived the next 5
Mhm.
years. 48 people survived the next 5 years, right? But
Mhm.
of the people who left, only 20 people survived,
Mhm.
right? So you could say the people who left were unlucky because they died at sea, they died to a storm, they died to new lands, they died fighting the new tribes, whatever it was. Only 20 people survived
Mhm.
for the next 5 years. But after those like initial 5 years, the next 5 years, those 20 people had enough food, they had enough science that those 20 people uh, uh, populated to about 100 people, like they reproduced to 100 people, while the people who stayed on the island, the 48 people who stayed on the island, only populated to up to 60 or 70 because they don't have enough resources, right? So it is about luck, but at some point it's about choices and like the system and the structure that you use to get ahead, like to make the wins matter more than the losses that you get. So that's where I think systems
I
matter.
completely agree with. I completely agree with you. But I think we are thinking of a period where social media is there, people are getting constant information, etc. But
Nah, I
in
don't
past,
think it
we are
matters.
talking of.
No, I don't think they were smart people, bro. Like I'm not saying our Indian philosophers were dumb as fuck. They were smart people.
Yeah, right.
They were really smart people. But they just chose wrong. They chose conservatism instead of liberalism. If they chose liberalism, we would have been fine.
But why did they choose liberalism or conservatism?
Because probably some person lost a debate and yeah, he fucked us. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
just
is luck, right?
that is not luck. That he should have prepared more, or he should
But
have been
it
smarter.
was, but it was our luck to not get a
Yes.
smarter
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah. But individually, as a person, I think, right, you should think of that person that lost the debate as you. Like you could be that person.
Yeah, right.
That's
Right.
motivational. Like instead of thinking, okay, he lost and that's depressing, I want to think
Yeah,
about uh, I was that person or I could be that person in this current time. So yeah, I
yeah,
just learned from that guy that I should be prepared more than, right?
but then humans are emotional. What can we do?
Yeah, humans are stupid. Yes, I understand. But yet somehow we are still like winning.
Yeah, but yeah, correct.
It's not because of luck, it's because of our choices.
Yes, yes.
Right? You agree?
Yeah, agreed.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.